Well, decision making, what is good decision making, who are good decision, it's a very, very difficult question. For me, crucial two words: inclusiveness, listening to everybody. But once the decision is made, we all have to be behind that decision. My name is Marina Kaljurand. I'm a former Foreign Minister of Estonia, and I'm a former career diplomat of Estonia. In 2007 was my second year in Moscow. I was posted to Russia as Estonian ambassador and presented my credentials to President Putin in the fall of 2005. I loved my work, representing my country in Russia, a country with which we have had centuries of difficult history and relations. My Russian background made it easier for me to reach out to people. I enjoyed every moment of my work and life in Moscow. From difficult negotiations with Russian counterparts to lovely meetings with Estonians in Siberia and long discussions with Russian liberals in their kitchens or dachas. And then one day in April, almost everything changed. 2007 will go into history as a year when one state used cyber attacks against another state for political reasons. It all started with the removal of a Soviet war monument from the center of Tallinn to a military cemetery in Tallinn. The bronze soldier was in the center of Tallinn since the early 50s or the later 40s, and it was a burial site. There were remains of Soviet soldiers on that site. It also became a place for, on one side, rightist Estonian people and extreme Russian nationals coming to the place to express hatred towards each other. Well, we are a democratic country, everybody has the right to express their views, but that place has to be appropriate, not on a burial site. For weeks we had negotiated with Russians. We tried to do it together, of removal of the remains of fallen Russian soldiers to the military cemetery. And just a couple of weeks before the removal happened, we were told by Russian authorities that they do not want to cooperate with us and we have to face the consequences. So when the bronze statue was removed in Tallinn, then immediately demonstrations and looting started in Tallinn. Siege of Estonian embassy in Moscow and cyber attacks against Estonia. Estonian institutions like banks, emergency services, websites of President, Prime Minister, government, MFA, MOD. For several occasions, it caused shutting down internet. Those were primitive attacks by today's standard. They did not kill anybody or destruct anything, but these attacks were disruptive and disturbing to a state that was known for its unique online services, including online banking, e-government, online voting, e-schooling, e-police, and so on. Cyber attacks were accompanied by information operations. Center of Moscow was covered with posters with my photo with Hitler's moustache. The text on the poster read, "Wanted ambassador of a fascist country." We had youth movements that surrounded the embassy, that blocked the embassy, so embassy was cut from the rest of the world. My worry was how to evacuate people if something really bad happens because, as I said, we were blocked. It was crucial to stop the attacks, to recover as quickly as possible, to introduce countermeasures and to convince our partners and our NATO allies and to consult with them. Another important task for me as an ambassador was to try to find ways of cooperation with Russian authorities, to stop siege of embassy and stop cyber attacks. Unfortunately, it was impossible. Russian authorities refused to admit their responsibility and cooperate. For us, it was very important to have EU and NATO on our side. You don't have a smoking gun in cyber world. So in cyber, it's very much to provide information, to provide details, to provide data to your partners and convince them. And EU and NATO were on our side. We didn't find any other ways or means how to respond to the cyber attacks. So we did with the Schengen blacklist that does not allow certain people to enter not only Estonia, but the whole Schengen territory. So it was a powerful tool. We were able to escape that situation with the help of our EU partners and our NATO allies. We had strong political support, and in the end, Russians had to change their behavior. If I look at the events back today, almost I don't know how many years later, I think we were lucky for having those attacks, because they showed once again how important is cybersecurity, that it was a wake-up call for many other countries who did not pay much attention to digital services and cybersecurity until then. We have to learn our lesson from this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, because this pandemic once again showed how vulnerable we are. The use of ICTs and internet, they provide great benefits, from remote working to education to fight against corruption, but they also bring challenges. And I think that not every country today understands the challenges. So far, we haven't seen cyber being used by terrorists, but unfortunately, I'm afraid it's just a matter of time. So the bad guys, they're not waiting, and we should not fall back. We have to be ahead of them. I have heard from my colleagues in other countries that they're not ready to introduce online voting because it has its challenges, it has its vulnerabilities. And my answer always is that everything has challenges and vulnerabilities. There are different vulnerabilities, there are different challenges. We have to face them, because that's the future. ICT revolution will not disappear, and smart countries take advantage of it as quickly as possible.